What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yo, Who Hired You? My name's James, and this is...
What's up? I'm Hag.
And today we are going to be tackling the topic of dressing for success. But parallel in talking about dressing for success, we're going to be talking about the debate between what holds more power, wearing a suit or wearing a fly pair of shoes or kicks or whatever, right? A fly hoodie. We're going to dive into that. We're going to talk about the unconscious biases that happen based on what you wear at work and how you present at work. And we're also going to talk about enclothed cognition. Don't ask me to keep saying that word because it's hard as.
Yeah.
But that's what we're going to be talking about. Buckle up, tune in. We're going to unpack it all. Dressing for success. What does that even mean?
So I would say that means you need to have on something that's presentable. Everything from like a nice button-up shirt, good pants, nice shoes, you're well groomed, and you also know what industry that you're going to be working in and what those usual cultural type of dress codes have.
Yeah, that's important. I think that you hit it right on the head there, buddy, because what looks like dressing for success in one organization is not the same in another.
Yep.
So I think rule number one is be clean.
Mm-hmm.
And I know
well-groomed.
I hate sounding like I'm talking to babies out there, but we got to understand a lot of people entered the workforce during the pandemic and they didn't understand office etiquette because they never worked in an office, and then they returned to office and things were weird because hybrid and all that. So there's a lot of just people out there that maybe just need to hear this. And that's be clean. That's make sure you take a shower the night before or the morning of you going to work. Right? Make sure you wear deodorant. Make sure you brush your teeth. Make sure you're gargling. Make sure you're combing your hair, washing your hair. Like, you'd be surprised how many stinky people are working in corporate America right now. It's serious.
Yeah.
It's real. Like, it's got to the point where companies are putting Listerine, floss, toothpaste, and toothbrushes in the bathrooms at the office for all the employees to use because people just don't follow basic hygiene.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I would say that it's probably enabling bad behavior if you're doing that kind of stuff. Almost. But on the other side of it, it could be maybe there's just Listerine and it's there for,
it's there for a reason.
It's maybe there for after lunch. But, also we're talking about being well groomed and showering, all those things. But, if you're trying to be promoted, actually 75% of the people that are well groomed are promoted in America. So it's kind of interesting about that.
I'm interested in understanding the 25% of people that are stinky and dirty and still get promoted. Those guys got to be amazing.
Yeah,
they got to be unicorns.
They must have an extreme amount of talent.
It got to be. It got to be, because if I got to be in a meeting and you smell like BO and you're like a boss, that's tough. That's tough. We've had BO bosses before. We have definitely had BO bosses before in the past. Listen, I know he don't want to see. He's ducking. He's doing like Trump again. He's ducking like Trump, or like the CEO from Coldplay. He just did a duck. But listen, it happens. It happens. Listen, sometimes
we'll move on.
Sometimes bosses have stinky breath, and sometimes bosses have obscene amounts of BO, and you just have to deal. You just have to deal with it. It's a real thing. And the problem is, when they're your boss, you can't tell them. You can't tell them. You just absolutely cannot tell them.
Let's move on.
I've had somebody, not when I worked with you, so we could clear this up. I worked with somebody who had the craziest breath ever of all time. Like, it would be, Hag, we would be in a meeting room, right? And it would just like be me and this person having a meeting, and the whole room would woof. Like, it would be like, I felt like it was on my clothes when I walked out the room. Like, it was it was crazy.
Sounds like when I used to work at a deli.
Oh my God. It felt like I felt like I smelled like cold cuts after I walked out of a meeting room for talking with this person.
Oh my goodness.
So moral of the story, it happens at all levels, right? So this is why we're doing this episode, is why we're having this conversation, because common sense isn't common, right? So if you're new to the workforce, number one, make sure your hygiene is good. Make sure your clothes are clean and smell good, right? We've all been in the subway, on a train, or in a crowded elevator with that one person that smell like onions. You know the person. They smell like onions. And then you're looking around and you're like, yo, who smells like onions? And then you just know who it is. I'm not going to say nothing. You just look around and you're like, there's the smell right there. You know who it is out there. Anyway.
What else could we talk about, please?
So, young people out there, when you're going to work, right? Understand that how you dress, how you present out is going to impact your career trajectory, right? If you're the stinky onion guy, you're probably not going to get promoted unless you're like a superstar at writing code or you're a wizard at finance or something, because that percentage is really low of like you moving up in the ranks or people wanting to interact with you, right? Like, it's tough to sit in a meeting with somebody and everybody's just like holding their breath, like, oh, I can't breathe. Like,
All right.
No, we could keep going. We don't need a cut. We could keep going. So this is real. This is real stuff. I know. Look, we got political connects that we need to preserve, but we not putting nobody on blast.
Sounds like DOA.
You know what I mean? I can't offend my political connects.
Yeah.
I get it, but I'm not, if the shoe fits, it probably stinks because you're the stinky person. All right. Back to regularly normal programming, right? Put some deodorant on. Keep a stick of deodorant in your book bag, a cologne, toothpaste, all that stuff. This stuff matters. It sounds like we're cracking jokes, but this stuff really does. It does matter, right?
And no, it's important.
It's important. It really is. Like, all joking aside, you don't want to be the stinky person at work. You also don't want to be the person who is like looks disheveled, right? What I mean by that is like it looks like you just crawled out of the hamper. You don't want to be the hamper guy. You don't want to be the guy who smells like a hamper, who looks like a hamper. You don't want to be the person that was asleep, wakes up, says, oh man, I got to go catch a train, and just grabs whatever clothes are on the floor, shakes the bed bugs out of them, puts it on, and then goes to the office. Don't be that person.
Bad idea.
Right? Bad idea. Everybody's going to know you're the bed bug shirt guy. Don't do it. Don't be that guy. Right? Or that person. Also, while we're just shooting through here, there's such a thing as overdressing for work as well.
Well, I know where you're going with this one, I feel like.
Yeah. I have a feeling I'm going to use my boy here as a case study.
Yeah.
So
be the guinea pig?
You're going to be the guinea pig.
Great.
So in my case study, I'm using Hag as one of the controls, right? So look, my guy, he's always super fresh. If you see Hag outside of here, he's looking like he just came off the runway at Milan or something.
I want to be in the Tarot Squad.
He's fresh, right? This guy's crazy. So he's got always a fresh blazer. He's always got fresh sneakers, something fly on, a nice watch. My guy knows how to put that all together. But let's say, Hag, you're starting a new job. You walk in the office.
Yep.
You've got your designer suit on. You've got your rollie on. Maybe a nice pair of Cartier glasses or something like that.
Yep.
And your boss has a Men's Warehouse suit on with the sleeve covering up to his knuckles.
It's over.
How you think your boss is going to react to you being that fly and he's in the Portobello suit?
Well, if I'm a smart boss, I'm not going to react to it. I'm just going to slowly phase you out without you even realizing it, because you just showed up outshining me. Now everybody's going to be talking about you, right? They're going to be like, oh, is this guy making too much money? Why is he dressing better than the person that he's reporting to? Too many red flags.
And he said the key thing, never outshine your master.
I'm not going to do those things, but I'm just saying, like, I know people that may have done that in the past.
Listen, the art of war is there for a reason. And I mentioned it in a couple of pods, but it's the truth. Strategy. Forget the art of war. It's strategy, right? If this person has power over your career and your growth in this company, making him feel inferior or making him feel insecure about being around you is not a good thing. Like if I'm the boss and every time I'm around Hag, I feel like he's flyer than me, he gets more attention than me, or maybe he appears all these things, because then we're going to talk about unclothed cognition in a second. And that's when your clothes are like a superpower for you, right? And if he looks smarter because he has a pair of glasses on, or he looks like he's wealthier than me because he has a certain watch on, I start believing that as the person in the room with him. It might not be true. As the boss, I might be making 3 times more than Hag.
Yep.
But it's the perception.
I look like a threat now.
Exactly. Now I'm like, wait a minute, this guy's going to come for my role. Or, hey, the secretary that I've been stalking for the last 3 years that works here, every time Hag walks by her, she just goes over and starts a conversation with him.
Uh-oh.
I don't like this.
Yep.
Shut this all the way down.
And we already talked about dating at work, so we know the numbers behind that.
It's nasty. It's all nasty. And again, you start giving people with power over you reasons to not like you and potentially hold you back. And that's the last thing you want.
Yeah, I wouldn't say power. The people that may have, a little influence on your potential trajectory or like a promotion within your career.
Yeah, just don't piss off the wrong people for something avoidable. And I guess the cliff note of this tirade is read the room. Read the room and understand that you don't ever want to make somebody who has a little bit more power over you feel insecure about you or how they feel about you, around you. You see what I'm saying here, guys? Also, while we're talking common sense stuff for work, hey, come here, Gen Z. Come here. We're not going to hire you for a client-facing job with a face tat. Sorry.
I can't look like Post Malone?
We're not. No. You can't have a QR code on your forehead and expect to be the VP of marketing. We're not doing that. You cannot have 3 teardrops here and be the head of HR. Just doesn't work that way. Now, look, y'all can see I have tattoos. I have a lot of tattoos. I love tattoos. But I try to strategically put tattoos in a place where not everybody could see them. Pause. Right? So, like, there's nothing on my neck. There's nothing on my face. I'm not doing that. Because if I do that, unless I'm the talent, or at least if I'm the founder or the CEO of the company, if I'm not any of those things, I'm cooked. I'm never getting a job.
That's true.
I'm going to be in the stock room, or I'm going to be in a warehouse at Amazon loading trucks. Like, you got to understand that these decisions are around your appearance affect you long-term forever. Like,
you mean you can just naturally just do those type of things if you're not like an entertainer, someone that has their own company?
You want to be an analyst at a big financial institution? No face tat.
Yeah, you can't
do a face tat.
I can't have the kissy thing on my neck.
No kisses. Even if it was your grandma's last kiss and you put it there as a remembering of grandma, no. Can't do it. Cannot do it. And you guys have to be realistic with this. I see a lot of delusional people in the workforce that are like purple, orange, crazy, weird hair with a nose ring and a face tat and like a big piercing in your lip. And then you're like, yeah, I want to be in customer service, client facing, closing deals. I'm like, what who am I putting you in front of? Like, who can I put you in front of? Unless we're in a very specific niche where that will work.
That's fair.
Maybe you got to be a unicorn. Like, you got to be so great and so skilled that you're going to overcome all these barriers and blockers that you've built for yourself just by like messing with your face.
Science shows what you rock actually changes the way that you act and how the room reads you.
Yeah, it's actually a thing called Enclothed Cognition.
Remix to the ignition.
So, hot at the kitchen, we might get canceled for that.
Yeah.
But what enclothed cognition is, it's a psychological phenomenon describing how clothing can influence psychological processes. It includes, like, it'll mess with your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors, and then, you know, it just rewires your brain based on how you feel about what you're wearing.
Yeah. There's actually some studies behind this as well, right? We had that Stanford example where they had a group of students, and the group of students dressed up as prisoners and then also as the guards. And as soon as they got in their dress, changed in the entire way that everyone acted. And the guards like went crazy.
Crazy.
They started acting like there was like straight up Rikers Island.
Yes, I encourage all of y'all to do your Googles and look at there's video of that, or film, because it was old, of that. It is insane.
What they do to them?
It was wild. They was waking up the poor students that were posing as inmates at like 3 a.m, and making them line up in the hallway, like taking their mattresses out of the rooms and like shake. Like they was just wilding.
They made them walk to Brooklyn.
They were wilding, they were wilding. And then the guys who were wearing the CO suits were like drunk with power, and they were just like going off the deep end. It was craziness.
Rikers Island.
Yeah, and then
Iraq.
And then one of the studies we looked up while we were researching for this pod, there was something that said you're 50% more likely to have your focus go up when you're wearing a lab coat, because your brain is automatically like, oh, I need to be smart.
So I can be a doctor?
I mean, I don't know if you have, you know.
I'll think. And
what kind of doctor? Would you be?
Because I look like a doctor. I think I'm a doctor.
Well, that's what happens with actors too, right? That's why they like those method actors, where they have to really get in character by cutting their hair and gaining weight and doing all that, so they can really get into the.
They have to believe that they're that person.
Correct. So that's what happens to you when you dress for success or you don't dress for success. So you wear something nice, you feel good, you feel powerful, you feel intelligent, and your brain is like, yup, this is what we're doing. Dress like a bozo and you're going to act like a bozo. So there's that. All right, we're going to settle this once and for all. That's it. I'm team casual wear, t-shirts, jeans. Hag is going to be team business suits and all that. And we're going to settle this once and for all. Who holds the true power?
We're going to find out.
We're going to find out.
And it's based off a study. All facts.
All facts. It's not how I feel, not how Hag feels. No, we're going to data. This was an exercise. This was a study that took place in 2014. It was done by Krause and Mendez. So they did this controlled study where they had a group of people that were all at the exact same skill set. So it's not like he has a master's and I have a GED.
But I do. I'm just saying.
Okay. We're all on the same page is basically what's happening here. And they said, okay, this side of the room, you're all going to wear suits. This side of the room, you're all going to wear t-shirts, jeans, sweatpants, sneakers, very casual wear. Boom. Okay. We're going to give you guys a task. You have to somebody in a suit has to negotiate against somebody wearing casual clothes. Suits versus sweats.
Who won?
Let me get through it a little bit more, man. I know you want to get to that part. I know that's what you want to get to, but let's build it up.
Okay.
Let's give him a little drama. Let's give him a little theater, right? Before you get to he already gave it away. You know that the suits won.
I didn't say nothing.
By the way that he just jumped to the conclusion at the end. But here's what happened. So the people wearing suits, their testosterone, and I don't know how they measured this, stayed equal throughout the entire process. The people who were dressed casually in sweatsuits and sneakers and stuff, their testosterone dropped by 20%.
So would you put on the lab coat? You became a scientist?
Listen, I don't even understand how they measure your testosterone in this kind of exercise. That's a whole different podcast that maybe we need a genius on here to explain to us. But think about that. Because he's dressed a certain way.
Making you nervous.
He made my testosterone drop in a conversation where we're both equally skilled and equally matched against each other. He had intimidation, assertiveness, and a perception that he was dominant because of his clothes.
Yeah. Well, what kind of room did we go into, and they had what kind of table? Maybe.
I don't. Why does that matter?
Well, I'm gonna explain it to
What
you.
does the table matter? What are we talking? We were just talking about testosterone. Why are you? Explain the table. Bring me to the table.
I'm gonna bring it to the table.
Bring me to the table.
Was it a circle table or a rectangle table?
It was an IKEA table.
All right. So the difference between
What the fuck are we talking about?
So if we're at a, I'm just saying, if we're at a circle table, right? Everybody at the circle is equal, but maybe.
Wait. Why are we equal at a circle table?
I'm going to explain to you, because if we're at a rectangle table, okay, and I'm wearing my suit and I'm sitting at the head of the table, I've instinctively now said I'm in charge because I'm at the head of the table. Where at a circle table, everybody's equal.
Tricknology.
Right?
That's what that is.
And I'm wearing the suit. So I'm automatically already showing you that I'm a little better than you because I'm wearing something nicer than you. It's making you nervous, and your testosterone's going down, actually.
I mean, that's what the study says, so I can't argue with it. Those are the facts. I mean, I don't think I would feel that way, but whatever. Like, I get it. The data's the data. We can't debate the data. And let's talk about the outcomes, right? So there was testosterone. There was intimidation factor of the people in the suits versus the people not wearing the suits. But what was the financial outcome? It was we're negotiating. Who did better?
I out-earned you or out-negotiated you by triple. 2.1 to 700K.
Ugh. Yeah. So the guys in the suits, 2 million average, right? The guys in the sneakers and the jeans or whatever, like 680,000, 700,000. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, we'll let you round up.
Diabolical.
Yeah.
Right? So two things are happening here for you guys at home to unpack and really dig into. I think this is a seriously interesting topic, right? But it's what clothes do to you, and then it's what clothes that you wear do to others, right? So there's that whole enclosed cognition thing of wearing the clothes gives you this false sense of whatever, whether it's intelligence, assertiveness, dominance, whatever. Then there is the other side of it where your clothes are now impacting the room. Like, oh man, he just walked in with the sharpest suit on. Who is that guy?
He just sat at the head of the table.
Is he the alpha? Is he the boss? Who is this person? So things to keep in mind as you dress for work, as you dress for business meetings, as you're engaging with other people, as you're trying to create partnerships, as you're trying to build a network. How you dress seriously matters and impacts how people will interact with you.
Yep. Game blouses.
Whatever, bro. We know that there's a phenomenon called enclothed cognition.
Yep.
Thank you for the help there. That's a bit of a tongue twister. Pause. And what it is, right? And again, what it is, you dress a certain way, your brain says, oh, we got to act a certain way to match how we look. Right. So
now I'm going to size you up based off of the way that you look, right?
Yes, absolutely. Because you can only make a first impression
one time.
Yeah. So you walk in a room, you dress for success, you smell good, you look good, you're wearing a nice suit or whatever you're wearing. You got about 7 seconds because that's the speed the average person's brain develops an opinion on you when they meet you for the first time.
So my unconscious bias is already kicking in just based off of the way that you look. Mm-hmm. Do I pass the eye test? What am I wearing? Am I dressed the right way for perhaps my audience, right? So like you don't want to walk into a room where everybody's wearing a suit and you don't have a suit on necessarily, right? Or if everybody's like in sweatpants and kind of dressed down, am I overdressed for that room as well?
Yeah, and that's a fantastic point. Like, listen, I went through a similar situation with this, right? So I had a gig in a very formal business attire industry first, and then I moved over into the tech industry. So for me, I was adhering to you got to wear a suit, or you got to at least have some khaki pants with a button up.
You got to be presentable.
You got to be very presentable in a business fashion. Mm-hmm. And I remember I was in this tech industry and I'm walking around and everybody's looking at me like uncle or grandpa, right? Because first of all, everybody there is 23, 24 years old. Everybody's in a hoodie, sweatpants, a t-shirt, sneakers.
You didn't read the room?
I didn't read the room.
Okay.
So I had a meeting with a large stakeholder, with a global stakeholder one day. and I'm waiting. And I'm like excited to meet this person. You know, I'm new into the organization and I want to make a good impression. And I'm buttoned up. I got a nice polo. I'm looking fresh, but you know, still overdressed for the organization. This guy comes to meet me. He's wearing basketball shorts, like shirt that looks like he just finished playing basketball, like he just came from the gym playing. Sits down and he's like, "Why are you dressed like that?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Nobody cares about any of that here." He's like, "You're new here, right? I could tell. Nobody cares about any of that. Can you deliver?"
He knew that you were new just based off the way that you were dressed.
Exactly. Yep. He was like, "Nobody cares here about any of that. Can you deliver? Can you do what you said you can do? And can you do it well?" And it changed my whole, like neurons were firing in my brain. It was like, like, oh my God, like this is amazing. Like, and for me, I fell in love with that type of culture, like the tech industry culture, right? So,
suit on, bro.
But you know what's crazy, right? A couple of months later, we had somebody else come from a very big established corporate infrastructure.
Okay.
Right? Big stakeholder. What do you think he was wearing?
He's probably wearing a suit.
Wearing a suit, right? Like a super suit, not even just like casual without a tie. He was
that
like,
person didn't do their research either.
Exactly. And he's like the head of a pillar in our organization. So he comes in and I immediately was like, he's going through what I went through, right? He didn't know the context of the industry he was in. He's equating power to the suit, which he's not necessarily wrong, because in most places across the world or in corporate America, the person in a suit is the person who's responsible for something or is in power. Right. But the tech industry has kind of shifted all that upside down, where now it's the guy in the sweatpants who's the boss and the guys in the suits are the ones running around executing tasks for them.
Yep. Yeah.
So
also, even it's interesting too with the suits, because in certain cultures, like the most senior person, they don't wear a tie.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing to know too, like just based off of, what they're wearing, you already know like who's in charge.
Yeah. And then the funny part, right? So this person, back to a little bit, to call back to that story, that stakeholder that came in, he was an older gentleman, great guy, nice, fantastic dude. He immediately pivoted. Like it was like, it took him like 2 or 3 days, and then he was showing up, jeans, like dad jeans, but jeans, with a button up tucked into the jeans, with no tie, just like button up. But he adapted immediately. He was like, all right, I understand this organization, and I don't need to dress this way for people to have a certain level of respect for me. They just need to respect me because of my talent and my abilities.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's good to know.
Yeah. So I think the takeaways from this are context matters. Like, know the room.
Yeah. Read the room. Do you pass the eye test?
Yeah.
Right. Understanding your audience and what the culture is.
Yeah. And look, and there's truth to clothing having power to it. There really is. Besides the enclothed cognition that we've been talking about, there is data to back up that we're going to get into of like how wearing a suit versus wearing regular clothes like sweatpants does change the way people see you, the way that you even behave, and the outcome, right? There's some actually really interesting data. There was this 2023 Temple study that found employees who dressed better felt a greater sense of self-esteem and performed better at work. Then there was this stat that said something like 62% of people felt more confident wearing their favorite outfit. They felt more empowered, more emboldened. It was like it gave them a superpower. So it made me start thinking about this other thing that I saw, which was this quote in Forbes that said, people don't want to see a work in progress. People want to see success achieved, even if you haven't achieved it yet.
Yeah. So, for example, James, we can talk about when I was working with you a long time ago and I was the lowest guy on the totem pole, but I showed up every day in a suit, even though I didn't need to wear one. So naturally, when I went to my next role where I needed to wear a suit, it wasn't like it was uncomfortable or the first time that I had to do it. I already prepared myself by doing that prior, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you were just comfortable with wearing a suit. You had the swagger of somebody who's always in a suit, and that's something that I think people can tell.
Yeah.
So like even in my example, when I was talking earlier, when I was at the tech company and I was wearing the preppy outfit, the person I was meeting with could tell that that's not my default kind of
yeah.
styling
That's
choice.
that's not you.
That's not me. He could just tell, like, look, man, what are you doing? So the same way, what you did was you prepped for your next role. You dressed for the job you wanted, not the job that you had.
Correct.
So you were like, I'm gonna wear a suit. I'm gonna be polished. I'm gonna walk and act and talk like a boss before I'm a boss. So then when you got that position, it was natural.
It seemed like a normal thing, like I had been there before.
Listen, dressing well is a form of good manners. Tom Ford.
I like that. I like that brand.
There you go. So it matters. What you wear matters, guys. And, you know, it's how you echo out into the world. It's how people will see you. It's important. So take a little bit of extra time, iron your clothes, make sure they're nice and pressed. Because I think one thing that we haven't really touched on in this conversation is like, yeah, a good suit will make you look a certain way and people receive you a certain way.
Sure.
But you don't need to have an expensive suit. You don't need to have an expensive pair of shoes. What you need to be is presentable. And you need to be in the right context of the culture of where you're going to be at. Right?
I would agree. Like, look professional, be professional. Who said that?
Somebody. No, Damon John. I love dude from Shark Tank. Yeah.
Exactly.
So listen, it's true, right? Another one. We want to play quote war. All right,
Okay.
We got quote war. Fashion is an instant language.
I like that one. I don't know who said it, but I live by that.
Yeah. So Diana Verlin, she's a famous person. You probably know her, maybe you don't, but dope. I love that quote. Fashion is an instant language, and it is. It's kind of like even in nature, right? When you look at birds, like the birds with all the plumage and the colorful stuff, they're the ones that get the mates, right? They're the ones who hook up and do the little dance and have babies, right? So it's kind of like us as well. So when you walk in a room, are you the peacock?
Peacocking?
Are you peacocking? Or do you have the fly outfit? Are you drawing attention from everybody in the room?
I like the fly outfits.
Listen, one day we're going to get into the outside hag outfits.
We'll do a fit check. There we go.
This is going to take us to the moon. We're going to be out of here. Like, you're going to go viral. That's how we're going to go viral, is with your fits outside of the office, man. Like,
there we go.
Legend. So, in summation,
dress your best.
Dress your best. Smell good. Know that your clothes really do give you power.
They do. And also, if you're dressing well and you're groomed well, it shows that you're proactive and that those type of people seem to get promoted more than people that do not.
Yep. And also know that if you're confused about how you should dress going back to the office, you're not alone. Every generation is kind of struggling.
They're going through it. You can ask the question one time.
One time only. That's it.
One time only question, right?
One time only question. Also, remember, defer to your company's policies. Understand what's acceptable for their brand and their identity as an organization before you do something stupid and walk in the office looking crazy.
That's right.
And overall, just understand that regardless of how you dress, it's about, can you do the thing? Can you do the thing? You don't want to be a well-dressed bozo, even though the data we presented says you could be a well-dressed bozo and get away with it. Don't be part of the well-dressed bozo subreddit. Like, be one of those people that's like, I dress well and I execute at a very high level. I'm the man.
Because if you dress well and you do all those things, you're ready to take the next step once that position potentially opens.
Yep. So thank you guys. We hope you learned something. I learned something. I didn't know nothing about enclothed cognition.
I learned a lot today
before researching this, and a lot of the data. I definitely thought that the sweats were going to beat the suits. So it was interesting to learn that the casual dressing people lose in that situation.
It happens sometimes. So like and subscribe.
Peace.